Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video, we are talking about update 3.0. It's definitely on horizons, coming fairly soon, and I'm here with Paradise
Hey, I'm back.
to share about what we want, our wishes. This video was meant to come out on Friday. A couple of you guys were like, where's my wish list video? On the comments from the Friday's video, so we're here to do it. And we're just going to go through everything that we want to see in the update. The update 2.0 was good, but I feel like it could have been better. And there's a couple of other things that I kind of just want to make sure that they drop into update 3.0. So I want to put it out there into the sky. Please Capcom. give me all that goodness. So the major one is, I know you already heard me talk about it on our discussion on Aris Gaming, is like the lack of new monsters, not returning monsters from old games, new monsters. Like I'm talking about Rise, new monsters, another Magna Marlowe, something
Never
that's like
before seen.
something that's super iconic. I don't know what you think about this, Paradise, in terms of like having new monsters.
Well, this was one of like my topics in like our very first review discussion for the game. Is there's a lot of monsters, but a lot of them are either like older ones or they're kind of samey and they're not like that memorable in their own way. So I think like brand new monsters for one is like a huge wishlist thing, right? Everyone wants a new experience, and along with new like brand new monsters, you get to see brand new armor sets, brand new weapons, which could even mean brand new like weapon skills and stuff like that for like the ramp ups, because we're seeing a lot of differences with like the the Teostra and all the other soul ramp ups. So I would hope that with new monsters would come new things like that. So one new monster effectively could shake up everyone's build. It could change like the weapon meta, as well as just being like a cool new thing to learn, explore, maybe even have its own mechanics. We got Hellfire Blight, I think it's called, with Magna Mallow. That is such a cool mechanic in of itself, and that's what makes him like such a memorable, cool monster from Rise. I would still be okay with returning monsters if they're like old monsters that we haven't had for like a while, like I'm not talking something plucked out of World. I'm talking something from like Freedom
For
Unite
you.
or yeah, exactly. So that, I think that's a big one for me as well. I just love learning new monsters. That's what makes a new Monster Hunter game so exciting, right? Is that you get like hopefully a plethora of new monsters to fight and learn, and then going forwards, you have more knowledge for the next game in case they sort of bring a few of those back. So
Yeah, I definitely
new monsters is big.
feel like them having returning monsters isn't a bad thing, but with those monsters, I feel like you get like the novelty of them coming back wears off a lot quicker than if it's a brand new monster and you're fighting that and you're getting into kind of like the hunts a lot more faster, because you're learning the moveset a lot slower than you necessarily would if a monster that is returning, because you know it. Even if they've added new moves, I feel like they can revamp the monster, but if you know the monster, even if it's got new moves, it still feels like a kind of like a old fight almost, because there are monsters that are going to be completely reworked and it's just been weird. So the next thing is more of those ramp up skills as well, like the Teostra Blast skill. That is probably one of my favorite ramp up skills in the whole game. You guys are always going to hear me say Hellion as well. That is
Hellion's the one.
I'm always going to say that every video that I make is just Hellion is there, the ramp up skill. I just want to see more stuff in line with that, and the fact that like if they're going to add new monsters, does it always have to be an Elder Dragon for them to have like a weapon specific like skill like that? Or I just want to see more of that in the game, and more of that kind of real cool bespoke skills that you get on armors as well, and weapons. But what do you think about better ramp up skills?
I want even more than that, okay? I don't just want new ramp up skills. I want... Okay, let's premise this. If we look at World, the way that the weapon augments worked, right? You had like a set number of points, and you would fill out the points with whatever skills you could fit in that set point. So you could have like the health augment that would give you like life steal, combine that with like 2 defense augments, or an attack augment, or a crit augment, or have like attack and crit and defense, and mix and match it for your build, right? Whereas in Rise, the way that these ramp ups work is you have one choice out of 3, and that's it for every weapon, and it varies from weapon to weapon, right? I would like not like a rework of the system, but maybe more options, and then the ability to select more than one ramp up on a weapon, if that makes sense. So instead of it just being like you either get attack, you get crit, or you get defense, it's like, oh, I could get crit combined with defense, or crit combined with attack and something else, or like Silkbind boost with attack boost, you know, something like that, just to give a little bit more depth and customization to it. Obviously, we have the rampage weapons, and their whole thing is that you select like multiple different ramp ups, but even for those, you're not really selecting ramp ups. Like, you can't put Hellion on your rampage dual blades, you can't put the blessings on them. Obviously, they're weapon specific, but even so, you're just selecting, like, if you use the bow one, for example, you're selecting like the ammo type, the coating type that you want to use, and what element it's going to be. But I'm talking like, you know, I would love to see Health Augment come back. I would love to see...
Imagine, yeah. Imagine, yeah, if you could combine 2 weapons into one to get their ramp up skills. Like, so you had to meld both weapons and make them, but then you could, like, say for like the Tigrex longsword, I think it's got Silkbind boost on it, or even the Hellion Paw dual blades, right? You wanted to take the attack off of it, so it's a similar system. It's basically a system, but a gameplay way for them to do it. They could just take it so that you could make both weapons, but you combine them into like one weapon, or you can transmog, you know, a little bit of transmog system, so you can take it off, so you get an additional slot or something.
I'm 100% down with just systems like that in general, where it encourages you to play, to farm more, to build things, to then use them. Because, like, as we know at the moment, you're farming Lazarite, which is not only a finite farm, but you're generally going to be doing like the same one quest back to back to back. Whereas if they added something like that in, we would actually have new things to farm to make things, you know, which would just be like a better cycle.
I guess they can't
which
do
basically
that. They can't do that because they've like balanced the game in a certain way. So if they were to introduce a system where you could like take any skill and put into any weapon, then they're going to be like, oh, it's all broken, we haven't tested for this or whatever. But like, I'm guessing what you want is that you kind of just want more customization out of your weapons, right? And more kind of build variety rather than what we necessarily have at the moment.
Yeah. I read something, this is like off topic, but I read something somewhere that was, I think it was about like balancing WoW classes, because that's obviously like quite a difficult thing to do from like a game dev point, considering the skills and the stats that go behind them. But like if everything, I think what I read was if everything's balanced like within 5% of each other, so that, you know, it swings 5% one way or the other, it's like close enough that it doesn't, you don't have like everyone playing the top weapon or the top class because you're like 50% stronger, right? So if they could do it some way where you have that like 5% balance window, then literally every weapon would be fun, even if you're on the lower end of that 5%. It's like what you're like 5 or 10% away from the top end, which is like not a drastic enough difference to make something obsolete. Just something random interesting that I was reading about.
Going on from ramp up skills, we're talking about the story as well. So in this update, they're promising us an ending to the story. It's got to be better than what we got before. Like, if it's a mid like cut off scene and the monster just drops down a hole, we got to get something better. They did hint towards it afterwards as well, with the Wafus like joining together. But I want to see where it goes. What do you think what it's gonna lead to?
I want to know if I was the only one that when it freaking jumps into the hole at the end, and then that's it, and then there's just nothing more. I want to know if I was the only one that was just like, wait, what?
You're fuming. I was like, calm down. It's a Monster Hunter story. It's not that deep. It doesn't need to be that bad. Like,
I was like,
I don't know what you
I
expected.
completed the story, and I have no idea what happens. I have no clue what's next. Also, the Safi fight from World was so cool, where he like plunges down to the next level, and you like chase him down floor to floor. I was like, when he jumped down that hole, I was ready to go in. I was ready to see what is about to happen, and everything pop off, and then it just ended. So, I for one hope we get like a proper awesome, like, you know, boss fight sort of thing, where the pinnacle boss fight in Monster Hunter for me is the Safi fight with the freaking supernova bomb that is like just the coolest move that I think I've seen in ages in Monster Hunter, and you have like the multiple levels to it and all that kind of stuff. So I want a boss fight that's to that level of excitement, and I want the story to conclude in an interesting or exciting way, because
what if the boss
there's
fight...
so much mystery and it just left it on the cliffhanger, right?
Yeah, what if the boss fight is just us fighting both of them at like the same time? They just like copy and pasted both monsters into a...
I will be so disappointed if that's the case. Unless they make it epic somehow, you know?
We don't kill Ibushi, do we? They both fly off, don't they?
They're like KT repels, you know?
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, this is going to be both of them copy and pasted, and we get to use a turret for even less this time. We get to use it for T-1 second this time. But yeah, I just want to see the story conclude. It'll be interesting to see if they run the credits again as well. Because we did get credits on this one, right? So it'll be interesting to see if we get a credit run again, and how it all cohesively fits into the game as well. Like now that we're going to be 2 months after, and we've got like more of a full established, like fleshed out story. It'll be interesting to see how it goes and where they go with the story afterwards as well.
Definitely.
And talking about like being fleshed out, one of the things I want fleshed out is the end game. Oh my gosh,
This is where we spend our time.
This is where we spend our time. I feel like a load of other people that are making it through the game as well and haven't necessarily got to endgame or are going through the campaign will feel this once they do get there, because even though you're going through slower because you don't necessarily have the amount of time, or you're just taking your time with the game, you will get here. And you probably will feel like how we're feeling at the moment, where it's like you just go through. I feel like a load of people are not really playing as much as they were beforehand, because they've experienced that content. We've had the game for a month longer than you guys, so we're probably a month ahead of you in terms of like mindset on the game. And yeah, I just feel like they need to add a better loop in terms of more variety on the quest that you want to do. I feel like a load of people are doing Rathian at the moment, trying to get that those Lazarite orbs, what is it, Lazarite jewels, and I don't feel like it's the funnest quest to just do on repeat anyway. It's just the Rathian, which I like fighting, but like I don't feel like I should be required to kind of fight him to build all my gems and stuff.
I just want to say this, right? First of all, because we got the game earlier.
Wait. I said him. I meant her before someone gets triggered. Carry on.
Rathian is the queen, you know. I just wanted to say, like you said, we had the game earlier than people, and because of that, we farmed out a lot of stuff, and our builds pre-patched. Then the patch has come out. We farmed all of our post-patch stuff, right? And then I see people that have literally hundreds of hours less than me that are at higher HR because we synced in so much time before the HR break, which didn't collect together. So that's one thing where I'm like, I kind of wish I saved it for myself so that it would at least show in my HR. But yeah, you're totally right. The Lazarite farm is like a finite farm. And even for people like us, where we play a lot of different weapons and we make a lot of different builds, so we need a lot of the decorations for those different builds, it still is a finite farm that you hit. Like, I don't have every single decoration ×3, but I have every single of the decorations I care about plus more ×3 already. So I can farm more Lazarite now, but one, I don't even need to. But there isn't anything else to really farm that sort of has anything beneficial to you apart from for talismans, which, like, I still have stacks of hundreds of Rathian things and Narb things, you know. We played enough that we have, and it takes time to get those talismans to cook anyway, unless you're like arena farming them, which is kind of boring to do after you've done it a few times, you know.
Yeah, so, I don't mind hunting for just like hunting's sake and doing like just gameplay runs with no reward, but having that incentive to go out and chase something is the ultimate thing that kind of keeps me going, at least in a game, or to ultimately after the gameplay novelty's worn out almost. It's like, okay, cool, these are the new moves, these are the new monsters and whatever, but if I've got that thing to look at and like chase, it's like really cool as well. I think
what it is as well, though?
Yeah.
We just got Toaster, and we just got Kashala, and we just got what was the other one? It's like blanking on it right now. and Chameleos. But for one, like, the trio we have fought for many games, and we know them. So it's not even like you're fighting them just to master that monster, because for one, they're slightly like weaker variants anyway with the changes to their moves. So there isn't that excitement of, I just want to farm this monster hundreds of times so that I can just style on it, because for the most part, you know, you're already there if you've played past Monster Hunter games for thousands of hours. So that's one thing where I feel like I don't have as much incentive to go and farm those elders. Like, Chameleos is the only exception because he's like come back, and he is a fun fight, but his parts aren't particularly like amazing for melding compared to other things, and like, so it's not like I have that incentive like you mentioned, you know.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that comes down to it, right? So the update 2.0 came out, and I don't even feel like I needed to play it that much to experience everything, if you got what I'm saying. Like, I had the best stuff after like 4 hunts. the monsters weren't particularly like crazy hard. I know there's people out there struggling with them, and it is expected for people like us that are veterans of the game or have played a lot of Monster Hunter. I hate using the word like veteran, but it gets people to click on the video sometimes, so I use it in my titles, don't watch that. But like, when you're more seasoned, you know, got a little salt in there, hunter, then obviously you're going to find the monster easier to complete. But when the other Monster Hunter games, they introduced like new monsters, I was still getting clapped. When World introduced monsters, I was still getting clapped by the new ones when they introduced them. But like in this, I feel like when they introduce a new monster, you just go in, use your okay build, doesn't even need to be your super meta set, and you'll still like clap them quite easily without even necessarily thinking about it. I know there needs to be different tiers. I know high rank is a thing, but even again, people were like, wait for G rank. I was like, even in high rank, when we had the high rank like stuff in World, it didn't feel any easier than G rank. It only felt easier when G rank actually came out, if you get what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
G rank felt like, high rank felt like what G rank felt like at launch, if you get what I'm saying. So it wasn't necessarily in my mind of there was a change in difficulty. I was surprised when G rank came out for World. I was expecting like the difficulty to increase like tremendously off the scale, but it just felt like high rank again, because we had G rank armor or master rank armor or whatever you want to call it. I feel like it's going to be the same for this, right? It's going to feel like what it is right now, just with better armor and more skills or whatever. So hopefully we get that difficulty in the game in the future. Maybe I lost you guys halfway through there, if you get what I'm saying. It was kind of hard for me to explain, but
well, before we go on, this again, we said this in the review, so it only lasts so long, but like the true end game in Rise is learning all the weapons and the new switch skills and Silkbind things, like, because that is the new big thing, right?
Yeah.
So even like me, traditionally, I'm playing my Switch X, I don't care about nothing else, and maybe I'll try Insect Glaive once in a while. That was me traditionally. And maybe I'll try Bowguns once in a while, because, you know, they're a little bit spicy, you know?
Yeah.
But since that review video, I've been playing a lot of the weapons. I've been picking up dual blades. I've been playing loads of bow. I've tried out a lot of greatsword, as well as like various other ones. Like, I think the only two that I haven't really touched yet is like Lance and Gun Lance, and I'll get around to those. But it only keeps you going for so long. It's not like I want to become a god at all of these weapons. I just want to get familiar with them, have fun with them, learn what that is new with them, you know? And that is like, there's 14 weapons. That's a lot of time that you can spend familiarizing with them. But even there's only so much. Maybe this is I just thought of this right now, 2.6. My 3.0 wish list: more switch skills, more Silkbind skills.
You're never gonna get that. That is reaching right there. You're never gonna get that. That's a G rank thing when they ever release it, or if they do release one. Like, that's definitely more of a G rank thing when they introduce new skills. But yeah, the novelty of using new weapons wears off like after a while. I think we're way more versed in a lot of the weapons. A load of people out there are just like, one weapon, bang it out for the whole time. I don't know how anyone could ever do that. But like, for us, we play a lot of the other weapons, and even now we're kind of getting kind of well, I'm speaking for myself, but like they're super fun to play, but it's not the incentive to keep me playing. essentially. So yeah.
Agreed.
Oh, my one specific thing that I do want in update 3.0, right? You ready for this, guys? I want that mighty bow duel to not be just a headpiece, so that the bow can get some freedom. Please.
You're so funneled with that item. Like,
yeah.
This is the thing. The different armor pieces. If you think about it like this, each armor piece has like a window of a spectrum of what you can get on that piece, right? For certain slots, it's going to come down to the chocolate armor with the 3-2-1 slot, or one of the armor pieces that has like 2 attack boost, 2 crit eye baked into it with a slot. That's like a lot of skills in one piece. The headpiece is actually a really good piece, especially now with the Teostra headpiece that has like crit eye, crit boost on it, I think, as well as a slot. Like, so the headpiece is a valuable slot in your build, and the fact that you have to just go for that mighty bow feather that just has mighty bow charge plus on it, and then nothing else, no slot, nothing, it does limit your build. On the flip side, bow's pretty strong already there.
Yeah, it's pretty strong already. So it's like they're probably just doing that just to hinder bow. Like, there's not much that they can do about it per se. But I'm glad that so many people are enjoying the game. Like, regardless of the issues of Monster Hunter Rise, there are a bunch of aspects that are super enjoyable about it. I just spent like 2 minutes talking about difficulty and what I like in terms of like difficulty, but even with it being an essentially easier game to me, I'm enjoying it for what it is anyway. So regardless of the difficulty, it is fun to go in and punch monsters up sometimes. I just don't feel like it's got the longevity there when you do that like every time in every hunt. I feel like it needs that kind of like variety in terms of content. Some easy ones, some hard ones, and it doesn't necessarily have like the hard content at the moment, which is something that they could just drop in at any time on us, right? Look at what they did with Magnum Alvo in the demo, essentially. So if we can get something like that.
Another thing was you had like investigations previously, which was like random monsters with different rewards and stuff. So you kind of had that incentive to just go through and farm your best investigations, and you'd be fighting different things each time. Whereas now it's like, Apex Wrath, get your Lazarite over and over again.
Yeah.
Which is like just very samey,
Yeah. But like I said, we're all enjoying it. You're enjoying the game anyway, Paradise, right?
I freaking love the guy. I originally said it was probably my favorite handheld Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I think it probably is my favorite one. I think I've joined the club. It's my favorite Monster Hunter now.
That's the maddest thing. It's my favorite Monster Hunter, but it's got like these core major issues with it, which is just insane to me, if you get what I'm saying. It's got like bigger issues than the other Monster Hunter games, but the core gameplay is just super fun to me. And every time you go into a hunt, it's just jokes. There's just like little quirky stuff. The theme is just awesome. So there are a bunch of aspects that I do like about it. I just wanted to see it improve and get better. But for you guys in the comments, I want to know what you guys are thinking. What do you guys want for this update and what you want to see in the future? Obviously, don't take it to heart if we said something that you disagree with. I know a load of people, like, we will say something like, I don't like Hojo. And then somebody will be like, you
insulted my whole clan.
Yeah, exactly. You insulted my whole clan and everything. So, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. Calm down, guys. Calm down. Don't be that guy. Anyway, guys, we'll see you on the next video. Paradise, you got a video going up tomorrow. Do you know what that's going to be?
I don't want to commit to saying it because I don't know if I'll have it ready in time, but I'm hoping tomorrow will be an exciting, fun one.
Okay, nice. So Paradise will be back with a video tomorrow for you guys. I do have another cool video idea for you guys coming out next week, or even earlier than that if I can get it done. But other than that, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.